Hey you guys, what's up? It's Vikeejeah and I am here for a makeup tutorial. Today's makeup tutorial is all about Anastasia Beverly Hills, more specifically the foundation sticks. Now I happen to have 3 of them. I just received Chestnut in the mail this week, so I wanted to show you guys how it looks. And let me tell you, ladies who are my complexion, this is us right here. This is us. I'm so excited to have this foundation. As soon as I swatched it on my hands, I was like, that's it. That's the one I should have bought in the first place. That's all I needed in my life. But since I have the other 2, I decided to also use them to put this look together for you as both highlight and contour. I also utilized like pretty much every other Anastasia Beverly Hills item I own to create this look. From lips to brows to eyeshadows and contour powders and just, you know, whatever the heck I had on hand. So if you would like to see how to achieve this very sexy classic look using Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation sticks, then please keep watching. All right, y'all, I have already put my base on and we are just going to jump right into the foundation sticks. I'm starting off with Chestnut, which is my foundation color, and as you can see, it is a proper mix of both the cocoa and almond I had used previously in my first ABH makeup tutorial. I'm using my M439 buffing brush to blend all of this into my skin. Now I will say that you do have to work quickly with the foundation sticks. They are a thick formula, but they are blendable. You just have to make sure that you put a little elbow grease into it, y'all. I suggest a densely packed buffing brush for that very reason. I'm taking it down my neck a little bit, you know, down my chin more so than my neck. And I'm using both stippling and buffing motions to fully incorporate this foundation into my skin and target my problem areas. Once I finish blending out those areas, then I am going to go in with just a little bit more of Chestnut on my areas of trouble, my hyperpigmentation areas. So that would be around my mouth and on my cheeks. And I'm just buffing that in. And I'm avoiding my under eye and my upper lip for a reason. And you'll see that in just a moment, because that's normally where I would highlight. So I'm going to use almond to highlight under my eyes, across my upper lip, and in my usual highlight areas. So that includes the nose and a little bit of my forehead and my chin. I'm using a flat top kabuki brush to do this, and this is from ABH Cosmetics. In hindsight, I feel like it would have been a better idea for me to use the number 66 Sephora Pro brush because it's super dense and it's shaped similar to the Beauty Blender, so I can get into my inner corners and my nooks and crannies really easily. I felt like this particular brush was a little too soft for this foundation. I feel like you need something dense. You need something a little bit stiffer to blend out this foundation a little bit easier. Now, it worked. I did it, but I think that it would have been a lot faster and a little more efficient if I had used the proper brush for this. So that's just a note to you guys. I'm not a fan of the Beauty Blender with this particular product. I think a brush is the way to go. You can probably finish things off with a Beauty Blender, but definitely to blend it out, you're gonna need a brush. So I'm checking on my nose there because I saw a little bit of patchiness. I used a mattifying primer on my nose, and I think that if you're going to do that, then you need to properly moisturize first. I would recommend using something, maybe a pore filler or a smoothing primer with this foundation. So I'm just, you know, patching up the nose a little bit. And once I'm satisfied with it, then we're gonna move on to setting. Oh, no, we're not. We are going to move on to contouring. So I'm using Cocoa to contour. And I felt like this color was a little red, so I'm not fully comfortable calling it a contour shade. I would call it a bronzing shade. Like, who knew that you could bronze your skin with foundation? But it does sort of look very warm, so I would call it like bronzing. So I'm using another ABH Cosmetics face brush to blend that out. And honestly, I don't mind this brush for this purpose because I wanted to softly blend this out, but I still wanted to be able to see it where I placed it. And I think that this worked out well for that. but for the rest of my face, I would definitely recommend, or the rest of your face rather, I would recommend using a stiffer, more densely packed brush. But yeah, I like the way this turned out. I am sweeping upward on the cheeks and downward on my jawline to blend this color into my face. Yep, as you can see, I'm taking it down and I'm just softening the edges where the jawline meets my chin, I guess you could say. Now I'm going to set my highlight areas with Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I'm using another BH Cosmetics brush. This is a pointed foundation brush. I love using these because of the shape, getting into the inner corners of your eyes. And most of this powder melts right into my skin, so I didn't really need to bake or dust anything off. I'm just going to finish up powdering down my highlight areas, setting my highlight areas, because this foundation gives a very natural finish. And then I'm going to set my bronzed areas with my bronzing powder from Bobbi Brown, and this is in the color Deep. So I'm just taking that all over the places that I bronzed, and then I'm setting the rest of my face with Mineralized Skin Finish from MAC in Dark Deep. And that's just going over my highlight areas to give me a more true to skin tone finish, if you will. Now I'm going to contour just a little bit with Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Powder in Carob. I am only going to contour in the areas where I felt like I needed it. So the hollows of my cheeks, I thought was a good place to put it. And I'm going to put it a little bit on my chin. Actually, a lot of it on my chin. Who am I kidding? That's my favorite thing to do. For you guys who are used to watching my channel, you guys know I love contouring my chin and my jawline because it gives me a bit of a shadow effect and camouflages my double chin. So whatever was left on the brush, I just swept that under my upper lip to give me more of a pout, and I'm going to go across my hairline as well, and then of course going to contour / snatch my nose. And I'm just using another brush from the BH Cosmetics Face and Eye kit, and this one is the angled shader brush, and I'm just taking the contour powder along the bridge of my nose, but also behind my nostrils a little bit. I love doing that. Now I'm using my face palette from the Becca and Jaclyn Hill collaboration, and I'm using the center blush, which I believe is called Amaretto. And I'm just going to give myself a base for Pamplemousse, which is the bright pink matte blush in the face palette. And I'm using Prosecco Pop as my highlight. As you can see, it's received a lot of wear. I have dug into it considerably. I love it, and I love that it is so layerable. It doesn't go on intense to start out with, so you can really pile it on and get as high of the high beams as you would like. As you can see right there, my lighting is better on that side, I think, because you can really see the highlight from there. So I'm going to finish off my cheeks, and then I'm going to hit the chin, the cupid's bow, and the bridge of my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. Yeah, forehead. Now I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Shadow Couture World Traveler palette, which is no longer available, but all of these shadows, with the exception of Buttery, which is the first shadow I'm using to set my eyelid and provide me a little bit of a matte brow bone highlight. This shadow is not in single pan form, but you can get very similar shadows. It's kind of a off-white. But the rest of these that I'm going to use are in single pan form, and I have linked them for you in the description box. The first one here is Morocco, and I'm just taking that all over the lid and into my crease. And I'm using a large oval shadow brush or buffing brush from Morphe. It does a really great job and makes quick work of blending a single shadow all over your eyelid. If you are someone who likes to keep it simple, I would really recommend that brush. Now I'm using a goat hair crease brush from also from Morphe, and I'm using the color Fudge to deepen my crease and outer V. I really love this natural hair brush, by the way. I don't use a lot of them. I don't even own a lot of them, but I really, really, really like this brush. I find myself using it in every makeup application. It does a really great job of blending powdered product. So once I'm happy with my crease and I feel like everything is nicely blended, I'm gonna go ahead and double back with my buffing brush just to blend that with the transition color. And now I'm using Intense Gaze as my full lid color. This is a shimmer shadow. It's not an intense shimmer, but you can make it a little more intense with a Fix Plus or Smashbox primer water or eye drops, whatever you have on hand. And now I'm using a little bit of Pink Champagne to just brighten up my inner tear ducts. Nothing too, complicated going on here. This is a pretty simple shadow look. Now I'm going back with Morocco, and I am going to use the brush that's provided in the palette, and I'm going to take that on my under eye or my lower lash line, and then I'm going to use Fudge to do the same thing, except I'm not going to take it all the way in, but I am going to connect it to my crease color. So now moving on to the brows, I'm using my trusty Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Ebony. I was just adjusting my mirror to make sure that I could see what I was doing without being out of frame. So once I've groomed my brows, I'm just gonna go in and fill them in slightly. I went for a more natural brow on this day, so I was just filling in the gaps and sort of shaping the lower part of my brow with the Brow Wiz. And then once I love how that looks, because I tend to love how the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz works. It's a very thin brow product. It's very precise, and it's stiff, so you are less likely to make mistakes. I think it's a really, really user-friendly product. Now I'm going to set my brows with the tinted brow gel, also from ABH, and this is in Espresso. This is the darkest shade that they have, and it works really well for me. Now I am lining my waterline with some Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Demolition, and this is a cool tone brown. I was going for something very, subtle and not as harsh as a black liner would be. And I started off trying to give myself a gray liner, and that didn't work out too well, so I moved on to this Starlooks liquid liner pen and gave myself the tiniest wing and just provided enough of the line to cover the lash band on my lashes that I will be putting on a little later in the video. So I'm so sorry, by the way, that you guys can't really see what I'm doing here. I am so weird about my liner. I know I can't do it when I'm just facing the camera. I have such a hard time with it, but I wanted to show you guys at least a little bit of what I was doing, and hopefully, hopefully it's helpful. One of these days, you guys, I'll figure it out. So yeah, once I feel like the line is even, I can move on to prepping my lips for the liquid lipstick, and this is Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in American Doll. This is a classic blue red, very universally flattering, and as you can see, this liquid lipstick goes on very, very pigmented, and the applicator is easy to use. So that's all she wrote for my lips. I'm just filling in a little dry patch. I need to exfoliate. Okay, finally. So now we're done, and I'm just spraying my face with the Smashbox primer water and giving myself another quick spritz before I apply my lashes, which are the velour Trust Me, Try It's. I'm gonna put those on off camera and give you guys a couple of beauty shots and a little bit of 60s Black Panther realness. So that's gonna do it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick makeup tutorial. If you did, definitely like this video and let me know you enjoyed it by commenting in the comment section whether or not you've used the foundation sticks, or if you plan to purchase them, which shades you think you happen to be, or that you are, whether or not you enjoy the product. I happen to be oily combination, so this works perfectly for my skin type. Of course, everything that I used in this video will be in the description box. And if you are so inclined, definitely share this video with your friends. If you live in the New England area, I can provide custom makeovers for you. I can teach you how to do your makeup in the privacy of your own home. I can do some personal shopping for you and or with you. Definitely check out my website for more information on that. And if you're not yet a JeahBae, but you want to be, go ahead and click that red subscriber button and you will get videos from me every Tuesday and Saturday of the week. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on all my social media and I will see you next time.